welcome back to CookAlong Live. Hopefully you had a good time cooking the salt and chili chicken last week. This week we're going to make spaghetti carbonara, which goes really down well at the Pennypit. It's one of our favourites actually. To start off with, what we're going to do is we're going to chop up the bacon. If you've got a packet of bacon, you're kind of using 2 to 3 rashers. So just yeah, these ones are quite thick. We have used smoked bacon. It just gives it a little bit more of a flavour. You can use unsmoked if that's your preference. It doesn't really matter. And what you're going to do is you're just going to chop it up into kind of small chunks. If you are out in the shops, you can get also lardons, which work just the exact same. So you're just kind of chopping it into small squares. Just as you do. If you haven't done so already, put the kettle on boil just to get your water kind of boiling for your spaghetti. Or alternatively, you can just put cold water into a pan and bring it to the boil as well. You don't have to start from boiling. So just kind of chop it up roughly, kind of hopefully you have it in kind of squarish, but it doesn't really matter. And then I like to use the fatty bits of the bacon, but we do say lean bacon in this recipe. So we just chop it up. After obviously you've chopped up your bacon, do wash your hands because it is still pork. And we kind of say to wash your hands anyway after eating or after prepping any meat, raw meat. Regardless, even if it was a beef, it would still be the same. So we do this. Spaghetti carbonara is a lovely one for families as well, for kids. Kids love a little bit of cheesy pasta normally. So it's an easy take on the cheesy pasta. So wash your hands and then we'll put our pasta on boil. Now that you've washed your hands from hands on the pork, what we're going to do now is we're going to put the spaghetti on. So just on a medium to high heat, bring to a boil water. I've just boiled our kettle, so try and get the water to come to a boil before you put the pasta in. You don't have to season the pasta water, but you can if you want. Again, kind of make as much or as little as you are going to need. We do say 350 grams of spaghetti in our recipe, but again, there's no rhyme or reason for if you wanted more or less. So you're going to put it in, just kind of let it soften down at one end and then kind of spiral it into the pan, into the pot, I should say. So you're kind of just keeping on going round the pan until it's all in. And then just push it in. It does all eventually go in. No bother. just takes a bit of time to actually get a bit of faff. Let's put it in. But once it's all in, let that come to a boil. It takes around about 10 minutes for spaghetti to boil, dried spaghetti anyway. Obviously, just check the packet that you're using. If you're using fresh, it'll take a little bit less time. It'll take a bit shorter. But with this recipe, I mean, dried, doesn't really matter what kind of pasta you use, what spaghetti you use. Right, so now your pasta's kind of boiling, or it's starting to boil. What you're going to do now is we're going to beat the eggs, ready for us to kind of make the sauce that goes into the carbonara to make it creamy. So to do that, we've got garlic. You're going to use about 3 cloves of garlic, chop it up, roughly chop it into like chunks, or alternatively, you can just crush it. You're going to beat your eggs. So you've got 2 eggs, and just crack them. And you're going to crack them in a bowl. Crack your eggs and add some pepper. Add the pepper to your seasoning, to your taste. I quite like to have quite a lot of pepper in, kind of pasta dishes in general. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to beat it, just like what we did last week with our chicken, kind of eggs. You're just going to beat it until it's all mixed in. So when I say it's all mixed in, you should see that it looks yellow, and it's all kind of mixed in together. At this point, if you've got Parmesan to chop, this is when you would, to grate, sorry, this is when you would grate it. If you've got one of our packs, you'll have grated already Parmesan for you, so you don't have to worry about the grating of that. But you will have to chop up your garlic. So you've kind of got your eggs done, you've got your bacon done, you've done your garlic. I'm going to use lazy garlic just because I've got some in the house. And then you'll be grating your cheese as well. So you've got it all ready for the next part. So when your spaghetti is kind of on, just kind of keep mixing it around just so it doesn't all clump together. It is a myth to add oil to your pasta when it's cooking. It doesn't do anything other than leaves oil kind of on the top of your water. It doesn't actually enhance or change the texture of the pasta so it doesn't stick together. What you can do after it's cooked is, if you're not going to use the pasta there and then, you can put it into oil once you've drained it. That stops it from sticking. And we kind of use that for our cold pasta dishes that we kind of would do with chicken and salad and vegetables. So once that is on, it's kind of boiling away, we're going to start making our carbonara base. So you're going to heat the oil, your olive oil, a splash of olive oil in a pan. I'm just going to go and get an induction pan. Sorry. So into the pan, you're going to add your oil and your bacon and your garlic. So heat it up. You kind of want it to be hot, the oil, before you put anything in. And for the garlic, it is 3 to 5 cloves. So yeah, if you are using easy or lazy garlic, again, you'll just be eyeballing. So we're going to add the bacon and the garlic. I tend to add the same kind of amount of garlic into every recipe that I do. 1 teaspoon. Garlic's a brilliant alternative to adding salt. The more garlic you put in, the less salt you kind of need because it gives you the flavour. What you're wanting to do with this is you kind of want to make the garlic nice and brown, and you want to cook the bacon right through. So you want to fry it just for several minutes whilst the bacon cooks and the garlic crisps up. When you're doing this, when that's kind of cooking away and your spaghetti is cooking away, you can add your grated cheese, and I would add your grated cheese to the egg mixture. That just stops it stops us from forgetting about putting adding cheese in, which you won't do, but also it makes it quite a nice texture because it's all in one. And you kind of want to mix it all in just to make it like a cheesy egg sauce. Again, I'm eyeballing it. Kind of do what you feel you want. If you want to make it more cheesy, just add more cheese in. You don't also have to use Parmesan. You can use cheddar if you want. What I would suggest if you are using cheddar is using one that has more of a medium taste rather than your mild cheddar. So you're kind of flavoured, your coloured, your flavoured cheddar would be best, like your red cheddar. But as I say, you can kind of just keep frying it and that garlic. At this point, I would be checking your pasta because your pasta should be nearly cooked. I think that is cooked. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it off the heat by turning it off. Now you can either drain the pasta, but you need to keep some of the pasta water for later on, or you can just leave your pasta in your your pot just now, because again, we're not going to need it at this moment in time, but just take it off your hob, just so it doesn't cook anymore. It's completely up to you, but you will need some of the pasta water for later, so just kind of keep that in mind on anything that you do. So again, you're kind of mixing in now your bacon, and your garlic. What you're kind of waiting for is like the bacon just to crisp up slightly. If you're like me and you're impatient, just turn the heat up to as much as it can. What I would say is carbonara is a really quick and easy recipe to do, especially if you're in a rush from coming in from work or with the school runs and other activities that the kids have. It's such an easy and quick recipe to do that will fill them up. With this recipe, we don't use cream, we're just using egg and cheese. So it has slightly better health benefits in it. But carbonara is best served with some garlic bread as well. What we would recommend if you are doing garlic bread is using bread that's kind of stale but not moldy, and then just getting some garlic and some butter, and then just making a garlic butter, spreading it on the bread, and then putting it into the oven or your air fryer. And that makes a nice garlic bread. It will soften the bread up. You can also add some cheese onto it to make cheesy garlic bread. It's a great way to use surplus bread that you might have lying in a tin in the house. So, where we're at just now is we've got our bacon still kind of frying away, crisping up. It's not that far off. We've got our egg and cheese in our bowl. And then we have our pasta that is already cooked and ready to go in. So, once the bacon is crisp, that's when you'll know it's crisp, is kind of it changes colour to a more deep brownish colour. You don't want to burn the garlic. Garlic's nice and sweet, obviously, when it goes into the pan. If you burn it, it turns into more of a sour taste, which you don't want. So, keep mixing it. What you're going to now is we're going to add the pasta to the pan. But I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. Okay, so hands washed. Our bacon is now crisp. You can smell it. It smells like breakfast. What you're going to do is you're going to add in your pasta. You can use tongs, or again, I'm using I don't know what you call them, but the spaghetti kind of holder things. And you just drain it into it. As soon as your pasta hits the pan, you kind of want to keep stirring it, just so it doesn't burn. Turn down the heat as well. And then what you're going to do is once you have put your pasta into your pan, take it off the heat. I use the cork kind of mats, but just take it off the heat. You can put it onto another hob if you've got another hob. This is when it becomes a little bit chaotic. What you're going to do is you're going to add all the egg mixture into the pasta. As soon as you add it in, you're going to keep mixing it just until all the egg kind of cooks. So just keep mixing it, because then it will make it nice and creamy. I have a confession to make. I actually don't like cheese. It runs in the family, so I actually don't really like carbonara. But as the Pennypit, it's a firm favourite with all our kids. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of quickly put it in. Then the last thing you're going to do is, if you think it needs it, so if the pasta is dry, and you think it needs a little bit more, you can use a ladle, or alternatively just pour in a little amount of water just to loosen up the pasta slightly, and that is you done. That is your carbonara kind of made. Now, as I said, I don't like cheese and I don't like carbonara because I don't like the cheese or the egg. But I am going to take this into the office tomorrow and to give it to the staff. So this is the carbonara. It's a really quick recipe and it's a really tasty one. But that is your carbonara done on CookAlong Live. Next week, we're going to make a chicken pad thai. So check back out at the start of the week to see what ingredients you'll need. And yeah, see you then. Bye.